Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Resume Whisperer and Corporate Culturalist here at USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and it's an absolute pleasure to have us with you today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you again. We would love to have you subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is USA Global TV and Radio. And we are now going to welcome the star of our show. Mr. Joseph STETTER has helped over 11,000 people find gainful employment. He is truly an expert when it comes to all things concerning writing him a resume, whether you are looking for a job, whether you're a company looking to hire the best talent. Today, we're going to be discussing what different leaders look for in hiring the best talent. Joseph, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for again, and always an honor and a pleasure to be on the platform, Dr. Jacalyn, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my wisdom. And I'm very excited for today's show because we're going to continue with the theme of what builds a great corporate culture and what is it that employers are looking for. So we have a guest with us. I saw earlier. Hopefully, he is logged in. That. He is the owner of a very successful accounting firm, and he's going to talk about kind of what he looks for in building a team. And again, I want listeners to see it and perceive it from a perspective of not just me as an expert saying, here's what you should be doing, here's how you should be doing it. Sorry, I had shoulder surgery, so you can still see the thing, but more.
Hi, Joseph. We lost you for a moment there. Are you there?
Technical difficulties, but yeah. So I want kind of the listeners, the viewers, to understand that even though I coach people on how to help and I help companies hire the right people, what I'm sharing is not because I'm just an expert. It's because this is what I do every day, and so I'm bringing in a variety of guests that will be able to share and give insights on here's what you need for this industry, here's what you need there. And what you're going to see is patterns that, telling me that you're hardworking, dedicated, committed, and team player might have worked 20, 30 years ago, but does not work now. And then, how do you stand out? 1 second. Sorry, our guest is just having a little bit of technical difficulties. But, how do you stand out? So is it your resume alone? Is it what you say, how you say? It's all of the above. Is it, sorry, just messaging him. And just for people to understand that, we had Mr. Sharma here last week that, gave some great insights on his experience in the corporate world. And I want people to understand when, you have, and we're going to have multiple guests here saying, here's what's happening, here's what they need, this is going to make the difference for everybody. Okay, so I think our guest is here. So it is with great pleasure that I want to introduce Philip Millman, who is the proud owner of Millman and Company, a very successful accounting firm, and to get his insights on hiring people and kind of what he looks for and how he builds his team and inspires them.
Absolutely. Philip is backstage, but Philip's camera is not on. Philip, please turn on your camera. We'd love to bring you onto the program. So in the meantime, we do have Philip's LinkedIn. If you're interested, you can go over and contact Millman Company Chartered Accountants. And just like that, Philip disappeared. So I think he's working on his camera. It's technology. It's live television. This is the way that it goes. So,
right.
Joseph, I was just going to say, while we're waiting for Philip to join us, when you think about the best talent, that's part of this ongoing series that we're going to be having, what comes to mind for you as a recruiter?
Again, so talent is, I think there's a misconception that whoever is the most educated or the most experienced is always the best candidate. No, it's not. I can give an example. My father, when he needed to hire project managers in construction, would get resumes of people that have their PhD, but they've never left academia. And he looked at me like, we would have conversations. He's like, yeah, it's great that he's got a PhD and he has theoretical knowledge, but if he's never scheduled plumbers and electricians, where especially in Canada you have weather delays that could be 3 weeks long, it's useless to me that there's a PhD. I need someone that knows hands-on how to communicate to the trade, that hands-on knows how to adjust projects as they're happening and as on the go kind of thing. So there is a level where it's not just education. It's not just Philip is asking if we can see him now.
We
Jacalyn.
can, yes. I was just going to say,
Yeah,
Philip
perfect.
is with us. So without
Yes.
further ado, let's bring Philip Millman onto the program. Hello there.
Oh, hey, everybody.
Welcome
To
aboard,
have you.
Philip.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the program. I appreciate it. Thank you very
It's an
much.
honor and a pleasure. So I'm going to start by kind of saying, so you run a successful accounting firm right now. How many people do you have right now on your team, roughly?
Right. So right now we have about 25, 25 different people in total. And we have recently actually expanded a little bit by hiring a couple of new people. We had grown a little bit, so we had a need for additional people, and we also have some people that work for us through contracts, and who do social media for us. So there's several different people that work remotely, as well as just people that do different type of that act in different type of roles for the company. So it includes accountants and bookkeepers and tax technicians, administrative people. So people that do they handle our billings, our payables and receivables, administration for coordinating appointments. And setting up virtual meetings, as well as a few employees that work remotely, as well as a few contractors that work on our social media. So
Awesome, and
if
congratulations
you
on
include
all the
actually,
success. So you
thank
mentioned
you.
that you just hired or that you're growing. So part of the theme that we're
Yes.
doing here is, as an accounting firm that's growing, what are things that are important to you when bringing people on board? Is it just education and credentials, or is it personality, ability to solve problems on their own? Give me some insights on what excites you when you meet people, interview them.
Right. So first and foremost, we look for people that have some education in the required functional area that we hire for. So if it be accountants or bookkeepers, we look for people that uh, have studied accounting or bookkeeping. We are, for the most part, a training firm, so we don't look for people that have a vast amount of experience, but rather we look for people that have good learning skills. So we look for people that have IT knowledge, people that have good language skills, people that are self motivated, people that we feel would integrate with the culture in our firm. So we have a certain culture that we are aware of, that we were able to kind of grow and allow to thrive in order to kind of set the tone of the firm or the office. And it becomes increasingly important that the people that we hire do represent that culture. They can integrate into that culture and can work with other people, because oftentimes we train them, but at the same time they will have to basically be able to work be self-sufficient in terms of getting certain answers to certain questions that may have certain situations where management cannot always be available to them to instruct them. So it is important that the staff in our office works as a team and can communicate with one another, and can basically and establish certain trust with their coworkers, and have the ability to essentially uh, you know be able to interact and interface with these people without any issues that may be like that could be related to individual personnel type issues that could hinder their ability to thrive in the office. So they have to be able to be team workers. They have to be able to be uh, uh, socially open, to work to communicate with other people. They have to have good communication skills, and they have to be pleasant and presentable. So that's something that we look for. And the other thing that we have noticed is very important to us is increasingly the accounting business has become very much IT integrated. So we find that uh, people that we do like to hire tend to be people that can easily manage the working with IT like more sophisticated IT infrastructure. People that would have would be quick learners, especially catching on you know basically the way that our firm integrates with um, like IT resources, IT CRA resources, and you know basically be able to adopt technology to to better efficientize their output in terms of and productivity as an employee, and people that can use IT to resolve issues. Given that a lot more reliance on it now, and we do also work off cloud uh, platforms, and so whether they are working from the office or working from home, that they can essentially access the same resources, whether they're in the office or at home independently. So those have become increasingly important, and even I would say more so in recent years due to the changes in work environments, given the work from home mandates, during COVID, and just given that the fact that we live in a world that's post COVID now, where a lot of our clients basically rely on technology to communicate with us. So
So,
there is more
so
of a
let me jump in second.
yeah.
That's great. So, do you have like one or two questions that gives you insights on, let's say, the social skills or insights on, their initiative or problem solving that helps you kind of gauge that it's a good fit, as opposed to just someone saying, "I take initiative and I'm a good problem solver"?
Well, we asked them basically situational questions about certain uh, uh, you know situations that they might have experienced in the past and in previous jobs. We asked them a little bit about what their proficiency would be like in terms of technologies that we work. So we're like predominantly a Microsoft office, and we work with Microsoft tools. Microsoft tools include certain apps and programs that expect them to have some knowledge of, and it's like sort of the basic tools that we use. Of course, like some of the more professional tools, they'll learn over time, but they have to be able to see, uh, come up with solutions in situations where they're not always uh, sure on direct, and especially now, I find that even more so with a lot of the AI being out there, and information online, that would drive people that would have experience in terms of accessing those tools. So we do look for certain proficiency and ability to think outside the box, ability to be practically or practical in terms of resolution solving, and as well as you know um, just circumstances where we test them in terms of where they would reach out for in terms of getting answers to a question. And it doesn't have to be anything accounting related, but just in general, knowing that they can use their ITs, you know,
So,
uh,
along
their
those
IT
lines,
tools that they use every essentially.
okay, great. So along those lines, how much more
Go
likely,
ahead.
how much more likely are you to, let's say, give someone a chance that physically comes into your office and is proactive to try and kind of get a hold of you versus just apply through your website or through a job posting?
Well, we normally don't take applications through our website. I think whenever we have a position to fill, we look for candidates online. There's certain websites where we post a job offer, or oftentimes we'll also advertise informally through our network of clients and employees to see. Of course, we do prefer to hire people that come refer to us, and that's always a better way to knowing that someone else has vetted them or can vouch for them. It's really important to us. We are, after all, like a community accounting firm. We deal with lots of people in the area where we operate. So we're in the North York Vaughan area, and that's something that's a lot of our clients, where a lot of our clients are based from. So we give preference to people that come through the community or through our clients or employees, as well as just looking for potential candidates on particular hiring websites, and vetting it through that process. Of course, we always interview people, and we have to get a feel for the person, and we'll never just hire based on an initial interview. We narrow down a selection. We call for second interviews. I think it takes two interviews, and we decide on who we think would be a good candidate. And sometimes we may have a good candidate, but we just don't have enough positions to fill. And we tell the candidates that we are able to maybe contact them at a later time, and should they still be available for employment, we would consider them at that point. But we kind of see who we think would be uh, um, you know basically meeting the requirements of our firm, in, as I mentioned, in terms of fit and function. And sometimes if we feel like we would be at a loss for not allowing a candidate position, because we may have filled all the positions available, we might actually make an exception and hire them, just not to lose them.
Yeah.
And then kind of gauge from there whether they would ultimately be a good fit. Sometimes we overhire a little, knowing that maybe there'll be some turnover potentially, and we're entering a busy season of our busy stack season, and it's better to have a little bit more employees than in case someone leaves in the middle of the season, and make sure that we're well stacked for the season, and hopefully there's going to
Right.
be enough work to fill that position over time.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
if we have the
obviously,
space
great people are
available,
hard to
then we
find.
would proceed.
Great people are hard to find, and if you find really ones that stand out, you should make an effort. So you mentioned that your
Yeah.
community, you're part of York Region, and you service people in the community. But as part of being a team and as part of kind of creating a family environment, what are some of the things that you do to create culture in your company from a perspective of appreciating your staff and showing them that their work matters, and that they're part of a bigger plan, and that there's opportunities for them to advance or grow within your organization?
Right. I would say the main thing is just uh, reward people that are motivated to work, motivated to contribute. Really, get a sense of who's present, who has the firm's interest in mind, who can move on to the next level in their job, in terms of not just learning the basics and not just carrying out the very elementary part of their uh, job description, but takes an interest in other things, takes an interest in being more involved in the firm with other matter, and really taking more charge of helping me ultimately run the business. And those people will be financially rewarded. So it mainly is by basically providing raises in terms of salary. We do provide sometimes bonuses at the end of the season. Sometimes we provide Christmas bonuses. We have social events, not so many like outside the firm, but we have certain holidays are celebrated. We have lunches with our employees. Um, we we also try to provide a lot of flexibility. Like that's actually something that has become more prevalent after COVID is the work-life balance, having the ability to allow an employee to work from home certain days or certain times during the week, giving them the ability to manage their personal uh, 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 any personal requirements along the week, basically, where if they need to take some time off or they need to leave early, they can make up time in a different day or a different week, and just making sure that they're required to only carry out their work, but not necessarily working from the office or not necessarily working the 8 hour a day work day. So uh, there's a lot of flexibility, a lot of balance with their personal life, as well as we do get busy during certain times of the year, and so we encourage our employees to take vacation during the off season, and we allow many of them to even take on like months at a time. We have enough staff that can back up them during the lighter months in the summer, and so we created also I would say a culture of having like reserves where someone can leave if there's a family emergency, or if they want to take a month in the summer to maybe see family abroad or travel. They have that option of doing it, and we try to schedule uh, uh, and always maintain enough capacity here to run the business without everybody being here at the same time. Of course, like during tax season, it's all hands on board, but other times of the year, we try to provide that flexibility, and people take advantage of it. And it's actually become very important to some people, especially if they have a little family in Canada and require to, when they do travel, to take more than like a week or two away from the office. And sometimes they even they're comfortable in working abroad from another country, and we provide that as an option. Like I said, we are cloud based, and that's something that has worked for us as well. So
Excellent.
rather than losing employees, we try to give them as much personal time as they need, provided that it's not like during our
Busy
busy
season,
season.
yeah. So along those lines, you mentioned obviously you offer a lot of flexibility, and you mentioned the word having reserves. So how often do you cross train your employees, or just in general offer training to make sure that different employees are up to speed on different things, so that they don't feel overwhelmed and they know that there's support there?
Right. So again, we feel that having sometimes a few extra employees isn't gonna really hurt us at the end. It allows us to have that buffer room to basically have enough capacity to be able to actively share work with people that have less utilization maybe during that time, or people that are just starting or learning the ropes of the business, new hires, giving them the ability to gain experience under the guidance of another more senior employee who will still be the lead on the file. So and just being able to help out in a situation where we are squeezed for time, such as this time of the year, where tax season is becoming increasingly more busier and busier. So between now, let's say, and the end of April, that's kind of our busiest time of the year, and you know we are trying to be flexible in terms of like shifting or moving around work between employees, make sure everybody's utilized and nobody's working unnecessary overtime while other people are going home early. So, just spreading out the work between our, you know, employment resources, making sure that everybody's contributing, and it's really like a team effort at the end of the day. We all, um, I always think it's almost like a bit of a ship situation where we have crew and we all share the work, and everybody's getting basically a cut of the work and a cut of the reward at the end of the busy this season when we give out the bonuses. So it's irrelevant whether you're a junior or a senior. It's more an issue of like who's more hands-on, who takes more of an interest in, you know, basically picking up the slack or picking up the extra work that we would have, and helping out and really showing an interest in investing themselves into the firm. So that goes a long way with us, and that's what we reward ultimately. We also provide our employees with health and medical, like health and dental insurance, and we try to be as supportive as we can, to the extent that there is more competition for good talent out there, and we realize it. And when we see good talent, we will make an effort to secure it. So we have the remuneration means in place to ensure that we do that.
Fair. And along that line, in terms of good talent, what are your thoughts on people that take the time to put a little bit of personality into their resume so that they don't look like everybody else? So, a little bit of color or maybe slightly different formatting that highlights the relevant information for you in an easier way. What are your thoughts on that?
So I would say in my business, I'm not sure about the advantage of having, let's say, more creativity, in a sense that, in terms of like their presentation or anything like that. Although it does help in certain ways, if but it would probably translate in a different way to potentially, it's more of a, I would say, an issue of like being able to think outside the box, be able to resolve, it's problem solving and problem resolution skills that we look first and foremost. And then, because really, like in our business, at the end of the day, we are looking for basically employees that are good at working around challenges and issues. So, like, in terms of the personality part, people that have the ability to communicate and to work together with other people is important. But we're not really looking for people who are eccentric in certain ways, or um, different. We are looking for people that can communicate with each other here at the office, as well as with clients, and can clearly and concisely explain a situation to a client. Can can work with the client hand in hand to try to foster like a more of a cooperative relationship with the client, where the client can feel that he can trust the employee in terms of resolving small things or escalating things to like myself or a partner in the firm, or management. And being able to just adapt to whatever the situation may be, whether it's just a simple situation or a more complicated situation, where potentially there could be adverse situations that have to be resolved in the best way possible, and the ability to think of ideas and ways to resolve them is very critical for us, as well as just like I said, ability to rely on technology to be able to gather as much information about a situation in before making some kind of a professional judgment or a decision of what's the best course of action. So knowing that you have all the data that you need to be able to present to me, or to be able to take control of a situation, is key.
Absolutely, 100% agree with you. And you mentioned something that I talk a lot about in previous shows, the art of communication. And it seems that especially the younger generation, millennials, have kind of learned how to memorize the book, but they lack in communication. And so I've had plenty of accounting firms as clients tell me that it's not enough to memorize the textbook. The ones that get promoted, the ones that advance, are the ones that can communicate uh, a little bit better and can kind of be proactive on that. So again, you're reinforcing
Right.
some of the things that I'm saying, uh, as a whole. And that's where it's part of just kind of making sure that there is, because just because you learn in a degree doesn't mean that you're very good at applying the skills that you learn. And today, a lot of people might learn but don't know. And have you found that there's something to be said about someone that has experience that can come in and knows how to solve versus someone who is kind of a fresh graduate, especially younger, that doesn't have an experience and doesn't have the maturity to handle more volume? Have you found that at all?
We actually found that again, it depends on what we're looking for. Like in our firm, we have a certain like I said, culture, and we do try to hire within that culture. Not because we think that other people that may not fall into that culture would not succeed, just because we feel like it would be an easier integration to hire a new employee who can connect to that culture better than somebody who doesn't. And that actually sometimes to us is more important than potentially experience, as well as uh, maybe I would say more maturity. And the reason for that is because we find that oftentimes you can't always get everything in a single employee, and certain things can be learned, while other things um, would not necessarily be uh, learned over time. Like there is maturity can be developed and can be fostered and can be uh, encouraged in our firm, and can ultimately happen for an employee over time. And if it doesn't happen, then that employee probably wouldn't have much of a future in our firm and would not last very much, unfortunately, to make it to that point. But what we look for, like I said, is more like, I would say, skills that are either practical skills or learned skills that can be applied in the firm. So you're right that education only goes so far, but adaptability, the ability to learn quickly to use the tools that we use here for us, is very important. So someone who can quickly learn a skill and is very adaptable and a quick learner for us sometimes is more important than maturity, because they will excel over time and can develop the maturity over as a second step. But to hire somebody who's basically struggling to adopt the tools that we use here, and or has no interest in learning new things because they are set in their ways and are refusing to do the work in the format and the under the guidance of what we have, the process that we have in the firm, in place in the firm, to us would be more of a problem than someone who isn't as mature, but would have the skill set to quickly get on top of the technical side and
Yep.
become a productive member of our firm.
All right. Well, we got a few minutes left. We got about just under 4 minutes left. Final thoughts for you. Just kind of telling me a little bit about the services that Millman and Company offers for those that are in the Greater Toronto area, that need a great accountant. Personal,
Yeah,
corporate. Tell me what you kind of a quick rundown of what you do in a couple minutes, so that we can send people towards you.
great. So let me start with, first and foremost, so again, the culture, or the value that we try to add as a firm, and I'm not talking about specifically the services we provide, but the value we provide, is that of basically having the staff that is quickly respond to situations, uh, do their work on a timely manner, fast and efficient. And so that's something we pride ourselves with. We have a lot of competitors, accountants, who can never really be reached on the phone, take forever to finish work. We provide value in terms of quick response, quick work done, the ability to meet deadlines. This is a deadline business first and foremost, and you know, if we cannot deliver the work on time, then we don't provide value, in my opinion. So our response time, our ability to utilize the technology that's available to accountants nowadays is what we pride ourselves on, and where we compete with other firms on a service level. Other than that, products that we provide or the service offerings that we provide would be um, uh, accounting and bookkeeping services, tax preparation and filing services, so tax compliance, whether it be personal, corporate, trust, estates and trust and estates partnerships, self-employment. We do a lot of real estate taxation. We also have a big cross-border Canadian-U.S. practice, so we do quite a bit of U.S. filings for both inbound and outbound. So expat filings, Canadians who are looking to expand into the U.S. Um, through expansion of their businesses or through visa applications. We do a lot of business plans for companies that are looking to obtain loans and grants, and we do a lot of shred work in terms of like our SRNED grants that are provided by the Canadian government. I would say that's about 99% of our services.
Okay, so that's amazing. So again, Millman and Company, if you're looking for a great accounting firm in the Greater Toronto area, I highly recommend them. And again, Philip, thank you for your time and your expertise in this. And again, consolidating the fact that you need to make sure that you know how to communicate. You need to make sure that you are proactive and that you're taking initiative and you're willing to learn and that you're adaptable, because otherwise, you might be very good, but if you're not communicating that clearly, you're going to miss out on great opportunities. So again, we're going to have different guests from different industries speaking about what they look for, what they need, and just to kind of get people to understand that I not only help the individuals, I also help the companies hire great people and keep them. And I've had the honor and the pleasure of helping over 11,000 people land their dream job. Thank you very much, Philip. It's been a pleasure. We have a few seconds left. Thank you again for coming on the show today.
The last few days have been really amazing. I had the trainer course from the British School of Etiquette.
And I must say it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made and one of the best investments I've made in my own training and development.
Now, words alone will not describe the transformation and the positive path that I have traveled with the British School of Etiquette.
I found I learned a lot from the lessons this time I came.
The last few days with the British School of Etiquette have been fantastic.
And what I've learned now is really beyond my expectations.
This is the most rewarding experience and the best investment I have made this year.
It was just great. I learned so much, and when I go back to Belgium I will incorporate a lot of it into my day-to-day life and business.
It's been absolutely wonderful for the whole week that we were here.
I feel transformed, and I feel like blowing a trumpet and tell people, come and do this school. This class is the best. This is the best school ever.
You should take it. It will change your life immediately.
I am now able to teach other people how to bring the best of them.
Thank you.
Thank you, BSD.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Fostering better personal and professional relationships. Module 8, Mastery in Dining Etiquette. Building your confidence to perfect the subtleties of dining with finesse, enhancing your social savviness at any table. Step into the Polished Professional program where poise, elegance and excellence aren't just taught, they're instilled for life. Join us to redefine your potential and polish your professional edge.
To learn more, go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. The British School of Excellence are investors in people. Let us invest in you.